I'm delighted to be here with Jean-Baptiste De Bock, who is the Managing Director of OFCORES, a Belgian-based agency who are the winner of our February Virtual Event Awards. The winning entry was for their work with the Belgian Association of Marketing. They ran their marketing congress and it was a very cool event. Jean-Baptiste, can you tell us a bit about how long you've worked with the association and how that relationship has changed over the last year?
Perfect. Hello to everybody. Nice meeting you. Well, we've been working with BAM, with the Belgian Association of Marketing, for 6 years. So we've been supporting them as well on a strategic level as an operational level. So we've been organizing their congress on an event management level, on marketing and communications, commercial strategy, sponsorship recruitment, and delivering an experience, making sure that each year we put the bar a bit higher, we grow in attendance, and we continue the positive attendance and growth evolution over the last 5 years until COVID came and had made us reinvent the project for this year's edition.
Can you tell us about it? Because you've demonstrated to me what your platform looked like and what the actual Congress felt like for delegates. Can you show us and tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, well, we had several objectives. One is to create a unique experience to a very critical audience of senior level marketing managers, marketing directors, and their teams. So we always, over the last years, had a multiple day congress where content was king, obviously with very high level speakers. But the networking part was as important. So there's also the marketing awards for different categories. Also, the Marketer of the Year was celebrated in a nice evening event. So the networking and the food and drinks are definitely very important elements as well, next to content. So we had to look into a unique experience to impress the audience, to make sure that the thought leadership from the association and meaningful marketing was central, and that's been the roadmap for the last years of the association. But also to make sure that we could convince sponsors to follow us in this project and to continue their investments in a virtual edition, which was quite challenging at the start, but in different stages of the production of the virtual event, we connected also with the sponsors to show them what we were preparing, and that convinced them to continue their investments with some smaller Belgian sponsors, but also large global brands like Salesforce, Oracle, and they liked what we did. They were really impressed with the setup, and they followed us into continuing their sponsorships.
Can you show us how it actually looked for the sponsors and exhibitors?
Yeah, sure. I will perhaps start with showing first what we've done in the past. Let me just connect to my
technology. It's quite a leap of faith though, wasn't it, certainly at the beginning, for exhibitors and sponsors to actually think, how's it going to work? How are we going to get the leads? How are we going to connect with your audience, which you previously supplied? It must have been quite a challenge for your actual team to sell to exhibitors and sponsors to do something which they've never done before.
Yeah, and that's why we had to advance with our development and our production, because on one hand we have of course as an event agency we've been focusing on technology for multiple years. On the other hand, we have our sister company, which is Discover, and we started working with them 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. Now, when COVID came, we did several brainstorms and looked into like how can we create a different kind of experience. We looked into various platforms with external partners, but we did not really find something where we were convinced that we were going to reach the level that we wanted to obtain. So we actually started developing ourselves with our sister company, who was part of BAM already over the last years, but with different kinds of integrations. So what I would suggest, and I'm just opening my screens into a different tab so I can share them. Let me be with you right away. So first we're gonna jump into the BAM Marketing Congress 2019, where we were in a
That's amazing.
edition. So this is where, can you see my screen?
I can see your screen. It's looking a very big auditorium, welcoming everybody with a lot of empty seats.
So this was 2019, the day before we went live. So during the night, we did a capturing 360 visit of the event itself, and we can move into a 3D dollhouse. We move into the marketing village. So this is basically what we created last year with the integrations, the integration of sponsors, booths, and with islands. So
this was a physical event which you actually ran.
This was a physical event, and to show you like the creativity and unique experience, we had a team of chefs inside this box, and dishes were launched on this on this, I don't know how you call it in English.
I don't know, it looks like Yo Sushi do the rotating food.
So this was quite a unique experience for 2019. Not 2020, we moved into, we did this for the students as well, so we changed a bit the branding. But 2020, we moved into a platform where you had a program for the entire week. You could go into different sections, and this is now, everything is recorded afterwards, so you can see the event afterwards as well. But an open program, an open platform where you can as well create your agenda and fill your agenda with speaking slots, with big keynotes, smaller workshops, but also like connect with audience, with different participants. So this is one of our project managers, where you can see, look at the profile, connect with them, chat with them, set up meetings, look at the mutual contacts. So it's you create some kind of community, which lives longer than your normal event. So this has been live for 3 months. So people have the opportunity to connect before, during, and after the event.
And how many people did you have actually engaging?
We have 1,300 persons attending, and also in terms of networking and connections and number of hours spent. That's the advantage of a virtual edition. We can measure much more than we can in a live event. So we have really good statistics on the number of connections, the number of interactions.
How do the numbers compare with the physical event you ran in 2019?
In terms of attendance, it was more or less similar. It was a 39th edition, so there's quite a quite a stable audience.
And they tend to be the same people each year?
More or less. I think yeah, 60 to 70% is stable. I think now we had the possibility to slightly increase in terms of attendance, but it's not like we had a spectacular increase. It's also a paying event, so there's a registration fee, which for a virtual event around 200 euros is not not cheap. But on the other hand, we had 80 keynotes spread over 5 different days. This is also an example of how we integrated the different partners and sponsors for the event. But there was also connected, so you have a personal page of each sponsor, but this was also connected to a virtual marketplace that has been modeled and sculptured in 3D and brought alive. So every sponsor that's we were also part of partners has his own skyscraper. And from here, you can walk around, you can discover the booth of the Belgian Association of Marketing, but also the booth of the different partners, where you could launch videos, set up one-to-one meetings, integrate fact sheets. And this is quite a unique experience to do this in a 3D model that is tailor-made, and we're not going into a standard exhibition that you see for 50 events in a row. We can actually fly if we want to, and
it looks absolutely fantastic. And your sponsors and exhibitors, and what was their response? What was their response to this? And did your delegates actually engage with it? I imagine that it's the 39th edition. Some of them have been coming for quite some time. I imagine marketing people being quite on the pulse with technology, but I don't know if that was the case. Did all of them embrace it?
Yeah, I think you can. We had a survey at the end of the event, which was very positive in an attendee's point of view. A lot of people actually like the fact that you can create your own agenda, and even in a live edition, you have parallel sessions, and you always miss out on something. Here, if there's 3 subjects at the same time that you're interested in, you can just decide yourself. And the event was beginning of December, so there's the Christmas holidays just after, where people had to stay home due to the situation that we all know. But we felt and we saw that a lot of people actually looked into sessions afterwards as well. So we had 80 keynotes. Staying behind your screen for 5 days is not something that anybody will do. But here is like you decide and you choose your different topics. If you're really interested, you can go into the live session and have a Q&A, participate in the Q&A or polls. If you're just interested to get the key takeaways from a specific session, you could also look at it afterwards and see the different questions that have been asked and to the responses also on the poll. So the platform stayed alive, but with all integrations into it. And you could also continue connecting with your peers or potential prospects if you're more there in a commercial approach like sponsors are.
I'm interested in the financial planning you did for this. I mean, I don't know whether BAM set you particular targets and how you came to those targets, and also how you work with your team. I mean, obviously they're selling sponsorship and exhibition places in a way which they've never done before. Did you set them targets? Did they meet them? I'm just interested in how that worked, because everybody was sort of vaulting into the unknown.
Yeah, well, in terms of global objectives, we had no idea what to expect. So at the end, we had to create a unique experience with a final ambition to be break even. And it didn't have to be a profitable edition. We just had to create an experience for a loyal audience where they were able to get more or less similar takeaways as well in an attendee point of view, as a sponsor point of view, like they should have on a normal live edition. Sponsorship targets have been put forward. We more or less reached them. It was at a couple of thousands euros close. So I think we were at 95% of the target. We just missed out on the full objective. But the sponsorship contributions were a bit lower because you don't have to build a real marketing village with the materials and foresee catering, and so I think in terms of margin, sponsorship margin, net margin, we were more or less at the same result as in a live edition, as in one of the last live editions. Obviously, the creation of the 3D was also a cost involved, and the platforms, and making sure that during 6 days we had all the technical setups and some pre-recordings and some live sessions up and running. So in terms of weighting and how you balance your budget compared to a live event, it's a bit different because you go much more into technical developments and technical support than on more your construction of your booths and your catering, your support staff on site. So obviously these are elements that we could not duplicate. Although we did together with a sponsor that is normally present at the Marketing Congress as well. They sponsored 300 beer packs, like Duvel, which is a very well-known Belgian beer brand. As it's a meaningful marketing congress, the beer packs were delivered to the first 300 persons who registered with Teslas. So they were delivered personally at home. And the purpose was to put them in the fridge, and during the marketing awards in the evening on Thursday, to have a beer together in a virtual way.
Nice. I can imagine marketing for marketing professionals is quite challenging. We run events for events professionals, and I know how stressful that can be, and also how it pushes you to be creative and innovative. I mean, that sounds a great initiative to get the registrations rolling. Were there any other marketing ideas which you rolled out?
Well, the campaign actually starts more or less 6 months in advance. Here we emphasized a lot on the experience that we were going to bring, and the creation of small teasers on building up the temperature, but also making sure that people understood what we were going to do and what they could take out of it. And this was completely new for everybody, and I think since March we've been experiencing so many virtual events and online events where some of them were not at all at the level that they should be, or what you would expect from a professional event. So that also means that in terms of expectations, people, yeah, I won't say can easily be impressed, but they have been seeing so many good and bad examples that at the end, if you come up with a unique experience at the end of the year, it is well recognized, and you see it in the feedback that we receive from sponsors and from the organization itself. In terms of memberships, they also increased, so they made a very good appearance with their virtual event. So I think the entire campaign, before, during, and after, because we even sold tickets after the event, just for the online platform. Yeah. So the word of mouth afterwards from marketeers to their colleagues was like, oh yeah, I attended this, and but you can still connect because it's still going to be online until the end of February.
That's very impressive to be selling tickets after an event. Have you already started planning your 2021 edition?
We are currently brainstorming what we are going to do, which is a very difficult case at this stage. In Belgium, vaccination is not up to speed, which is an understatement. If you compare it to other countries, and I think in the UK you're advancing relatively well compared to other countries. So it's very difficult to make decisions now on what they will do. Most likely it will be a hybrid version. We're not going to aim for 1,200 persons coming to an event live because we have no idea if that's going to be feasible. So the idea now is to go towards one or multiple days with 300 to 400 persons on sites, making sure we foresee a lot of space for networking because people haven't seen each other for
too long,
a year, and who knows when we will be able to do live industry events again, where you meet your colleagues and your peers. But the virtual experience was really positive. So they're going to continue with that and do a combination of the best of both worlds. And we'll see if we can grow in live attendance and find a good balance there. But I think this is a model that will exist and continue on a long term. We work for a lot of European associations as well, where they gather people for their events from all over Europe. And some of them had attendance rates with 1,000, 1,500 persons, where they normally have 200-300 persons on their live events. So the best of both worlds will remain, and I think the efforts that we've been doing on the virtual events is a starting point, and it's not an effort that is lost. I think some takeaways will continue, and some of the virtual and online business models will continue existing.
A good investment for the future.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to see in the background your champagne bottle. I hope that's an indication that you and your team were happy to win the Virtual Event Awards in February and had a good celebration. How have your team responded to winning?
It's a great recognition for the work as well, for OFCORES as Discover. We've been on a roller coaster in 2020, where in the first phase a completely empty agenda after March, where it was filled until the end of the year. Thinking and looking on how we could help and serve our customers with their objectives in different ways, as well on a corporate and institutional level. And for BAM, we've been working with them for the 6th year now. It was the 39th edition. It's a very reputed event in Belgium, and it has been quite a journey to build everything up, also under pressure and time pressure at the end, because the second half of the year, especially from September to December, was completely crazy with virtual events that we've been organizing for lots of customers. So at the end of the year, the team was really tired. And winning this award is a great recognition and a boost for everybody, and also prove that with a virtual concept we can really make the difference. But it's all, you have to think it through. You have to make a good script, a good production, and reinvent each element, and each element filter it down, see how can we change this, not duplicate it into a virtual way, but create a new concept around it, and try to make something that does work for your audience and does engage them. And I think with this event, we achieved on having convincing a customer, convincing sponsors to follow us in what we were imagining and selling them, without knowing 100% what the final result was going to be. But my entire team has been giving it all, and is so happy with this award. It's a superb recognition, and we're very grateful for the jury and for yourself as organizers to see that even in the preparation of a case, that you see that the takeaways and the experience around it is valuable.
Good. Oh, well, I'm delighted for you and your team. Congratulations on a great entry. And I look forward to what the 40th edition of your BAM Congress is this year. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much.